So, welcome back to another Shit Dog podcast. I'm not sitting on my ergonomic chair today.
Why not?
Just felt like for the Shit Dog podcast, a bit more of a laid back posture would be better, you know.
And so you just let me sit here on the
In our
ergonomic.
menagerie of plants.
So this is Fergus, this is Francis, and this is Fergal. No, I don't like Fergal. What do we call this?
You're mad for naming them.
Anyway, what are we going to name this?
I'm not sure. If you've an idea for what you'd like our broadleaf plant, our broadleaf office plant to be named, let us know. I'm going to go first as the winner of last week's trivia round.
Do you know? Everyone knows that's a joke. Everyone knows it's a joke.
My
at this
first
stage.
question is.
Shh, stop now a second.
So
everyone knows that's a joke at this stage, don't they? I
usually when we're picking the questions, right, Eoin will always have an Irish history question. I'll tend to always have like a firearms question.
Yeah.
Of some sort, right? For some reason or another. Anyway, in caliber notation, right? 223.223 is commonly held as being like, that's what the caliber of that gun is. Even though the width of the bullet is 0.22.
Yeah.
It's the same as a 0.22. So where does the 3 come from? Or there's 0.224, or there's 220.
1893 was the year it was invented?
No.
1903.
No.
What is it?
So the difference between the lands and the grooves in the barrel. So like the depth of that groove.
Yeah.
So it's a measurement of whether you measure to the groove or to the land. That's it.
That's mad.
Yeah.
No, the naming conventions of calibers of bullets doesn't make any sense.
I loved it. So like wildcatted calibers where people have changed them themselves at home.
Yeah.
And then they get kind of brought into factory like ammo and stuff. Some of the names for those are cool. You'll have like 17 Fireball.
Yeah.
Their baller names like.
The classic names aren't that exciting. It's mad how long some of those calibers have been around as well.
Yeah.
Is it 25-06s since... what year? Was that 1856 or one?
No. So 25-06 is from the 30-06. And
Yeah.
30-06 is around from 1906.
Yeah, so
But it's actually around from 1903.
like it's mad how much they just don't need to change.
No.
Anyway, so as the person with the most number of wins for trivia, I'll go with my Irish history question, the first of my three.
Right.
In World War II, how many Irish people to the nearest 10,000 fought? Obviously, they didn't fight for Ireland because Ireland was neutral, but a certain number of Irish people went and fought for the Allied powers.
Jeez, I've no idea. Did you ask me this question before?
I don't think so.
300,000?
No, 70,000.
Fuck.
It was like 150,000 or 170,000 in World War One.
Okay.
But World War Two was 70,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
The World War One reason was because a lot of people thought that if they went and fought with Britain for World War One against Germany or whatever, that they would look favourably on Home Rule.
Yes.
And so if they fought with them, so there was kind of, it was kind of frowned upon. I think partly that because there were so many of them gone fighting, and then they were like, okay, we'll actually get more favour from the British government if we fight with them during World War One. I don't think it made a difference, to be honest, given the following circumstances. After World War Two, a lot of people got mistreated. No one got state pensions. A lot of people didn't get them for years, decades later. I don't know if you've ever heard about that.
No.
So a lot of the veterans or whatever, it was kind of frowned upon, going to World War Two.
So they didn't get Irish state pensions?
No, because we were neutral or whatever. Like, and I don't think we were supposed to do it. I think that was De Valera's work, though.
Okay.
I think there's a lot to that, though.
Yeah. Think we're getting into the weeds.
Yeah, we're getting too much of the weeds there.
Right. Question number 2.
Go on.
So we're fans of people doing mental things with cars, right?
Yeah.
And one of those is like the Gymkhana.
Mm-hmm.
And a sponsor of that Gymkhana is Hooligan.
Right.
The term hooligan,
Mm-hmm.
you'd hear it used for like soccer hooligans, hear it used for gangsters and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's the origin of the word hooligan?
Was it a British gang?
No.
Go on.
It was from a fictional Irish family
Right.
in a song in the 1890s.
No way.
Yeah, their second name was Hooligan.
Hooligans.
Yeah.
Is hooligans a slang word outside of Ireland? Do other people say hooligans?
Yeah, I think so, because it's fairly widely used in like soccer hooligans, you know.
Oh, it is actually. You're
Yeah.
dead right, yeah. Oh, yes, they do use soccer hooligans, yes. Hooligan, it just sounds... Because I'm used to hearing people say it in an Irish accent. You're like, is
You're
that an
hooligan.
Yeah.
That used to be the thing if you were doing something mental and your parents caught you and you were getting in trouble, like,
Yeah.
you'd be a hooligan.
You know what they don't use outside of Ireland is a langer.
No, they don't really use that outside Cork, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not a great one, a langer, like.
I like it.
You're a langer.
Yeah.
It goes well if you just use it out of nowhere, like.
It's like a soft...
Yeah.
It's a soft swear, you know.
So number 2 in Spycraft. So and you'll probably have heard this acronym before. It's known as a knock. The acronym is NOC. What does this acronym stand for in Spycraft? This has been around since the Cold War, but would still be used today.
NOC.
Yeah.
Knock.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a hint. What kind of area of Spycraft?
They're also known as illegals.
I have no idea.
It's I'll give you another hint. It's a way of like bracketing.
Somebody is roaring at their computer right now.
It's a way of bracketing a certain like stream of spies. Like a certain kind of these spies will be called knocks or illegals. Will I give you the other stream?
Yeah.
There's a big hint now, but it'll still be hard to get.
I think I don't get the answer if I get it anyway.
It's the other stream would be people who would be spies, but they'd be working for an embassy or something, or they'd have government jobs in the
native of country.
No,
Go on.
non-official cover.
Non-official cover.
So you'd have the people who would have official cover, so they'd be working in the embassy
Yeah.
as like kitchen staff or an actual embassy person or diplomat or whatever, and then you'd have people who'd be like deep state spies who'd be knocks, and they would have non-official covers.
They'd be like sleeper agents.
Sleepers, or well, they'd be active, but they'd have no official contact with their own government, and they'd have no official contact with the embassies and stuff, and they'd be real in deep,
Jeez, that's pretty baller.
pretty actively spying. Yeah, a lot of spying still goes on.
Yeah.
Lots of spying, but obviously you don't hear about it because they're gotten better at it, I suppose.
I assume as well a lot of spying just goes on over the internet now.
Yeah,
They'll just hack into someone's phone, or they'll hack into whatever, I wonder how much boots on the ground spying there is.
There's a great fella on Mike Baker. He's been on
Yeah.
Rogan for years. He's on. I love him. He's so fucking interesting.
Yeah.
And Reddit goes mad when they see him on. There's like, oh, Rogan CIA handlers on.
Yeah.
God, shite.
No, I like Mike Baker.
Okay,
Okay, last question.
go on.
I've just plucked this out of
The eater.
I was going to ask you a question about what is the pluck.
Mm-hmm.
What organs does it encompass? But I won't ask you that question.
Mm-hmm.
So, on a similar note, if you were to harvest an animal native to Ireland
Uh-huh.
and get ivory
Mm-hmm.
from them, what
Right.
animal would you harvest? Ivory, the same thing you'd get out of an elephant's tusk. It's a doozy.
Is it a novice animal? Like, is it a well-known animal?
It's well known, but it's not going to be obvious that you'd extract ivory from a part of their being.
Mm. Don't know.
You can shoot a red deer, and they have remnants of a prehistoric tusk
Mm-hmm.
that's made of ivory
Yeah.
in their upper jaw.
No way.
Yeah, and it's set in like cartilaginous tissue.
Right.
So you can actually take out it comes out like the size of the top of your baby finger,
Yeah.
and it's actual ivory. So
No
when you
fucking
look
way.
in their mouth, yeah. I actually extracted some ivories out of a skull a few months ago.
Did you keep it?
The person who shot the red stag gave it to him.
Bastards.
Yeah. So cool.
That's mad.
So cool. So the elk in the US and their wapiti or whatever, the other species is,
Mhm.
they have quite big ivories. Obviously the red stags, the big red stags will have one that's
Mhm.
like the size of the top of your baby finger. But yeah, it's an ivory.
You can't join ivory together, can you? I don't imagine that.
I don't think so.
Other than to like obvious like wood means or whatever.
Gluing it.
Like you can't like get it seamlessly together. I don't think. Can
I
you?
don't think so. I
Yeah.
think the thing with ivory is it's fairly uniform throughout.
Okay.
So it's not like, if you drilled into a tooth, it
What-
would be hollow on the inside or whatever.
So outside of medicinal purposes, what's the graw for ivory like internationally?
I think it's just baller and it's rare.
yeah, it's just
you know.
it's just nails and stuff. Like it's just calcium
Yeah.
build up or whatever.
It's just bone, like.
It makes no fucking sense.
No.
Um.
I suppose traditionally,
Mhm.
like ivory for keyboards of pianos and stuff, before you have like Bakelite plastics and stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
it probably is like a very hard wearing, long lasting product, you know.
Yeah.
So like for very high end pianos or very high end pieces of equipment or handles of knives and stuff,
Yeah.
it's nice, you know. But now, to be honest, anything that becomes rare is just going to be valuable anyway.
You don't know what they polish it with, do you?
No. Why do you have a load of ivory at home you want to get polished up?
No, but I'm just wondering, why would you polish that without ruining it? Like, 'cause imagine sandpaper would like make it very
Oh,
coarse.
yeah.
You know, how are you?
I assume you go through grades and grades of
Was it
abrasives.
smooth? Was it smooth in the raw product?
Very smooth, yeah.
Oh, maybe you don't need to really do much
Yeah.
polishing. So
I know this was being given to a jewellery maker, and I don't know what she was then going to make out of it.
probably lacquer it, maybe.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Is this your last one?
This is my round number
Okay.
3, right? So this is a picture round.
A picture.
Who is this very famous historical person?
He's so handsome.
Yeah.
Um,
I know they won't build this. Might build this.
can we cut that picture in?
You can definitely.
We'll cut it in for the YouTubes. We'll cut it in. Send that to me there. Who is that very famous person? This side or the other side of the Atlantic Ocean? Come on, give me that.
This side. This side would be.
Let me see again.
Sorry, just make sure. Very famous, incredibly famous,
Jesus, Gareth, I do not know.
undeniable. It's Joseph Stalin.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yep.
No way.
That's
How handsome is he there?
super handsome.
Joseph Stalin would do damage on a Friday night in Cork City.
He looks like Kinu Rastami, the Iranian weightlifter.
Yeah.
But that is young Stalin, notoriously handsome.
Jesus, that's mental.
His upbringing. There's Real Dictators is a great podcast on him, but he's even then, like in the early 1900s, capital of Azerbaijan, Baku was still like a huge oil place. Like it was like the place to be.
Oh, really?
That side of the world, yeah. Mad how
Wait, he's from Azerbaijan.
No. He just spent some time there
Okay.
and stuff. But I was just thinking about Baku.
Baku.
Never been to.
Never been to Azerbaijan. Not yet.
Not yet.
Are you training this evening?
I sure am.
It's unbelievable to see the return of balmy evenings, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
It's not warm yet, but it is like the windows open in the office all the time.
But there were talks of snow and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I've got to say, like, I like summer's evenings, but I also like, you like what you get used to.
Yeah.
So I like the early nights because it gets dark really early, so you just get great quality sleep because it's dark for so long. Like, you're not gonna make.
Yeah.
Like, I get that, you know.
My sleep was returning to its former glory there for a long time, you know.
Yeah.
Or not for a long time, since I finished the competition in Bristol. Jesus Christ. Since I finished the competition in Bristol, it really improved notably.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Since Christmas, basically, my sleep had been terrible.
Yeah.
It's just training so late in the evenings.
It murders you.
And that type of training as well, getting choked, just really.
You need kind of like a 2-hour window post training.
Yeah, I think so.
Weightlifting's not too bad, depending what kind of session you do.
No, because I used to always train quite late, like particularly when I was driving to Mallow and stuff for training.
Mm-hmm.
They were always late sessions and late getting to bed afterwards, but like never an issue there. It's just the wrestling and getting choked really isn't a great put you to sleep kind of training session.
Yeah, it just takes a certain amount of time for your body to go to like the taper off with those hormones, taper off with that readiness.
Yeah.
Psychology of it.
I get so excited as well. I get so excited for training that I
I think some post training journaling would help with that.
It definitely would.
I find I think about it a lot. Think about what I did, what I want to do. I think.
You'll notice my journal is front and center in the Jeep now.
Oh, is that what you're using for it?
Yeah.
I think some journaling would definitely help. With that. Like just because I find my brain running through a lot of the stuff that happens.
I constantly run through it.
Jesus, I was. Like normally learning stuff in jiu-jitsu would be a pretty fast learner, I would say. But I got ruined with food poisoning, and so like 2 days back, like I mean really like intense food poisoning. I was a shell of a man. I went back after, and I just couldn't concentrate on what was happening. Like Daire would be showing a drill, and my mind would be drifting off, and I'd be like, concentrate, concentrate this now. And then as you're telling yourself concentrate, you realise 20 seconds in the real world has passed. Yeah. And your brain is just like, your brain is just slowly like going, oh my God, what? And then when I was doing it, I was just like, my God, I am not able to. And when you get that like long-term dehydration where it just takes days for it to come back almost. No matter how much you drink, you're still...
You're just so fatigued, like.
It does wreck on the inside.
Yeah.
I'd say bloods would be scary after that kind of thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to take blood pressure measurements for a while after either.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't think that level of dehydration definitely puts you under some fairly serious pressure,
Do you know who I think was thinking about a lot of stuff was Will Smith recently?
Will Smith, oh my God.
Everyone's under piece in it. More plates, more dates done it. Jocko did a bit in it.
Did he?
Can I get my bit in it there?
Go on.
I think they're, what Will did was stupid and I wouldn't have done it. I want to preface that.
Yeah.
But
you would have double-legged him.
Yeah, double-legged him and straight to the face. I think if you talk shit, you have to expect that you might get smacked. Yeah. That's the way I think about those things. I think like if you are talking shit at some stage, someone might smack you,
Yeah.
And like in that situation, it must be so weird where this person who you know but you don't really know can just talk shit about you and your missus and stuff, and there's no repercussions, and it looks bad for you if you, because normally in a group of lads, if you come back with banter,
Oh yeah.
And sometimes it gets vicious, and it gets like there would want to be blows thrown, but you can have a comeback. But at least in those scenarios, it's like you're not allowed. Like it's faux pas to say anything back.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying Will, because that's not the cultural situation there. Like he should have gone up and smacked him. But I'm just saying from Chris Rock's point of view, if someone comes up and slaps you when you're talking shit, you should be ready for that. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't have done it, but I just kind of like, meh. I feel like if you talk shit, someone might smack you eventually. Yeah. Like 99 times out of 100, one person might smack you.
Yeah, and I don't get the outrage over it.
The smack.
That's the main thing. The outrage.
Which bit?
People are so outraged that he did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's no big deal. It's a grown man slapping another grown man. Nobody got hurt,
Yeah.
Like it's not like like nothing bad happened. Somebody got slapped in the face. Mm-hmm. Nothing bad. People are losing their mind. Like like people are like, oh my God, you've no right to hit him. Like he didn't hit him. He slapped him. Like I'm sorry. No, you didn't. It would be different if he punched him in the face and he lost consciousness, or if he decked him, or if he threatened him with a weapon. He slapped him with his manicured, moisturized hands,
like soft baby hands. Probably
the softest slap you'll ever get in your entire life.
Like as Jocko said, like he just slapped him, like he just checked him and let him know,
just give it.
Like Jocko saying, my favorite part of Jocko's taking this was, he's like, to be honest with you, my biggest problem is with Chris Rock. You should never let a man walk at you with that intention and let him hit you. Like you should be ready. Like, the thing Daire talks about, Jock talks about, as well, interesting, is just have your hands like in this position. It's like, I don't want to fight, but it's actually a ready position. No, you should never let another, like, you should just straight for the double leg there. If someone's coming at you with that intention, like you got to take it down, a non-lethal takedown. And then just sit on them and wait. Be like, Will, you got to calm
imagine
down.
If he just grabbed the collar and grabbed the sleeve and just judo through him.
Yeah.
That's intense.
But I feel like, if you talk shit, I mean, someone's going to hit you eventually. Like, it's got to happen eventually. You can't go your whole life talking smack.
And, I don't know. People... The tone on Instagram and the tone online, right, of the outrage when they're like, oh my God, nobody has the right to strike another person. People think Will Smith is the character from I Am Legend, or he's the character from all the superhero movies he's in, where he's like somehow a born killer of a person who's like
Yeah.
unleashing the beast.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he's fucking not. He's an actor. He's the person in school who used to do plays. Like,
Yeah.
that man is doing no harm to anyone. He just he made a fool of himself, and he walked up on stage and he slapped someone. Like,
Do you know the problem? Do you know when he did that? When he stood up, he had to keep going.
oh yeah,
Like as soon as he stood up with that intention and walked
Yeah.
towards the stage, he had to keep going. You know,
yeah.
like there was no choice there. Like he had to follow through with that. You know, because everyone like, "What the fuck were you going doing?"
I'd love to know if there was a second in his head where he was like, "Oh no, I shouldn't be on stage here."
Yeah.
He went. Did he win an Oscar afterwards?
He did win an Oscar for King Richard.
I-
Good movie, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it's about Serena Williams and Venus Williams' father, kind of. Well, it's about them kind of growing up, you know, but
Okay.
he's the father in it. I like Will Smith, or I wouldn't say.
I like him.
Yeah.
I think he's good. Like,
I was gonna say don't like Mattis, but I don't really care. Like, I just don't. It doesn't
just
make
makes no difference to me
it
at
makes
all.
zero position.
Like, no. It disappoints me to see certain people having certain opinions about it, to be honest. But besides that, it makes no difference to my life. Like,
I heard a really good saying there recently. It's like a southern saying. It was like, it was something about, you know, like, start shit. I don't know, if you talk smack, you're gonna get smacked, whatever. But it was something like, some people are made to cool you, or other people are made to school you, or whatever. It was something very interesting with that. It was like a really old biker who said it. It was so funny. It was really. I'd love to know. I must see if I can find it again. But yeah, that was everywhere. Like,
yeah.
Jocko's video was like up like 12 hours and had like 500,000 views and stuff. And
what did Jocko say?
Jocko was just like,
What?
same thing everyone else really
Yeah,
thinks.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
he thinks. I thought that immediately. I was like, if you're gonna sit there and talk shit on people, someone might hit you eventually.
Yeah.
Like, you know. And he said the same thing. And he was saying, like, you know, stupid for going up to hit him. What you should have done was just said nothing, and no one would ever remember it.
No.
That's the thing with that. Like, where
Then he just turns on the ignition of his car one day and boom.
yeah, Chris Rock dead.
Chris Rock in a mystery attack. Yeah. The car bomb thing just came up there because people beep their horns outside the window here.
Mhm.
And it's just, there's this little rage demon that grows inside me every time someone beeps their horn out there.
Yeah, it's just,
And it's like, it's not like a toot toot. The lights have changed there 30 seconds ago and you still haven't moved, you know?
yeah.
It's a
Have you noticed people like
beeping more.
no in tailgating more? I feel like in recent situations.
Tailgating, like getting up really close behind cars.
Yeah, and I've noticed it a lot more in the last. Like,
Is this a personal attack at me?
no, like I'm just saying other people doing it. You know?
Okay.
I've definitely noticed it more. I think the last year or so. Like I think,
I don't notice it, but I get given out to for it a lot.
yeah, you do it a lot.
I don't feel it as tailgating though.
No, you were tailgating though.
I just like to take up that road that's in between me and the person ahead.
But you know, if you're tailgating in a situation, well, in fact, it's never a good idea. But in a situation where no one can go anywhere, you know, do you know what really fucking annoys me when I'm driving? Is there's a
And another thing.
this is in relation to this.
Go on.
An adequate braking distance, and when people fill that in, I'm like,
If somebody spins it, like just tucks in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you ever have one of those days where you're on a journey and there just seems to be so many crazy drivers out there?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That happened the last day on when we were on the way to Clarny on Saturday, or on the Kerry. There's so much happened in the space of 10 minutes. I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I shouldn't be on the road today.
No, it was like, oh my God, everybody's out today. Like, do you know, there's people just like going for crazy overtakes and people pull you out in front of you and you're like, what the fuck? This is just like a straight road here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like some days they all just come together, you know?
Yeah. It's definitely that saying of like, I have to remind myself of this quite often.
Mm-hmm.
If you go out of the house every day and you meet a dickhead,
Mm-hmm.
you're unlucky.
Yeah.
But if you go out of the house every day and you meet two dickheads,
Mm-hmm.
then who's the dickhead?
All of us.
You.
No, but I don't think when no, but you're just crazy drivers.
I know.
Do you know when you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I definitely have to remind myself of it when I like, if people are just very slow or I don't feel like they're reacting to the things that are happening
Yeah.
at the appropriate pace.
Old people in Mercedes becoming a problem.
My God, old people
They're
in
becoming
Mercedes.
a problem.
It's a certain year class of Mercedes as well. It's 2012 to around 2018.
Yeah.
That year class of
Spick and span.
Mercs.
Immaculately.
They got it when they retired.
Yeah.
It is immaculately clean, and it's never gone over 75.
Time is now, old man.
It's never gone over 75 kilometers.
Get the fuck out the way.
Yeah,
you know,
its DPF filter is fully clogged with diesel particulates because it's never revved and cleaned them out.
Yeah, never gone over 2,000 revs.
Oh my god!
I was driving behind one coming out of the car park the other day, and I was like, "This is actually."
No, I check out at that point.
No, it's.
I'll mount the curb.
Why have they all bought Mercedes in the last few years?
I've no idea what it is. They're all the exact same car as well.
Yeah, they're a terrible car. They break down so much.
They're like BMWs.
And
BMWs are worse for breaking down, but they're just.
Yeah.
It's that.
But equally as expensive.
Yeah, and they're so expensive to fix as well. You can't even jumpstart a Merc.
Why not?
You're not allowed. You're not able to jumpstart a Mercedes.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is mental. In other news, I spit roasted a whole deer at the weekend. You obviously know this.
Under barbecue,
but you weren't there. Yes, barbecue spit roasted a whole deer. You fucking degenerate. Yeah, it turned out so well.
Yeah.
So if anyone,
did you rail it like?
Put it on a rail.
Yeah.
Put it over a fire and spit roasted it. I actually wrapped it in pig skin first.
Did you marinate it?
Yeah. So it's marinated in just standard. What's the name? Is it Paco? What's the name of that meat seasoning? Aromat meat seasoning.
Polish salt,
and then just savoury salt. Like that salt bag mix. So the whole deer was covered in that. This is a whole deer, but it's like a whole deer calf.
Yeah,
so it's like 20 kilos soaking wet.
Yeah.
I had frozen it whole, and then covered it in meat seasoning, salt, pepper. The day before, I wrapped it in bacon skin, which we have the English market here in Cork, and it is phenomenal for getting niche meat products. So I was able to buy just a load of those strips of
not
pork.
Cheap though.
Not cheap.
Never cheap.
Never cheap, but really high quality.
Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, obviously I prefer cheap and high quality, but that's not how anything goes really.
Yeah, until we get wild pork in Ireland, it's probably where I'll be getting my pork.
We'll never see wild pork in Ireland.
There's some in Dublin.
No way.
Yeah.
In the they're rewilding a good area of some of the Wicklow Mountains in Dublin. I know it's the Wicklow, but it's all Dublin. Like
it's all Dublin.
But they've taken down some of the spruce, I think, the evergreen stuff, and they're planting natural woodland there. A good section of it apparently. Obviously, it'll take like 20 years to come to fruition, but you have to start now.
Yeah.
But that's good to see.
Time is now, old man.
The rewilding thing is kind of taking off a little bit in Ireland. I know a lot of people have been. There's just too much woodland in Ireland, and it's going.
Well, there's not enough woodland.
No, sorry, there's too much planted forestry. There's too much farmed forestry that is not good for the soil. There's way too much of it.
Yeah, it just doesn't support anything except forestry. It supports deer very well.
Yeah, that's coming from someone who really appreciates it.
Yeah,
it's thoroughly useful for deer populations. They love it. It's unnatural for them as well, though. It's too dense for them almost.
Yeah, but it's very good. It's unnaturally good for them.
Yes. Sorry, I'm talking about the population for them. So obviously there's no natural predators in Ireland anymore, so that's it doesn't really matter to them so much other than people, but it's just so dense, you know.
Yeah.
The problem with, I suppose, rewilding places is that, well, someone will still have to hunt them, but I'd be interested to see how that scenario would go in Ireland. I don't know how it would change.
There's no regulation of anything here, right?
Yeah.
No regulation of anything.
And they're always complaining about the deer problem.
They're always complaining about the deer problem. In Ireland, you put in an application with some landowners that say you can shoot on their land, or you pay somewhere so you can go and shoot there. And you put in an application, you get a license, you can shoot as many as you want, as many deer as you want for 6 months of the year. The longest season I've ever heard of in my entire life. But the problem is
not half long enough.
It's long enough, right? But in the case of like the rewilded areas, like rewilded areas will have to be state owned or supported in some way or subsidized in some way.
Yeah.
Because you make no money off land that does nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't do anything unless, like, the only foreseeably profitable way I could see rewilding making sense is when companies have to offset carbon. So, you know, for companies that have to be carbon neutral by 2030 or whatever, and they buy forestry, you know.
Oh, that'd be nice.
So that's what they do at the moment. They just buy blocks of forestry and they become carbon neutral. But unless you became even more carbon neutral if it was rewilded land instead of forestry land, you know.
Yeah.
That would obviously be really beneficial. But then, because there's no active regulation of hunting, how do you go and shoot on GSK ground or whatever ground, you know, Pfizer ground? Who regulates that? Like who and then you end up just a load of deer and a load of, like, that's not a good thing. A load of deer sounds like a great thing, but it's not really. Like, no,
it's good for no one really. Well, it's good for hunters, like, but it's
good
not
for the lad who gets to do the culling. Like,
it's a big thing that's taken off recently is it's too much for a minority of people with an opinion, but people with an opinion with no idea is huge on the idea that we need less beef, less grassland, and more crop agriculture in Ireland. Like, just grow more crops, just grow more of them, and just, like, people need to eat more plants, less beef. You know, it's kind of taken off. Like, and
it's terrible.
It's such a, like, there's definitely nuance to it, and farming could definitely be done differently in Ireland, and probably in a better way in some circumstances. You know, and but people are talking about, like, there's almost this kind of reflection that farmers are like bad people for doing it, you know.
But farmers are the only reason there's countryside. Like,
there's only reason there's people, though.
There's literally the only reason that stuff exists. That there's fields that we can look at.
Forget about the fields. Forget there's people alive.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know, on top of that, you know, the farmers are the only reason, you know. And, like, people don't realize that the vast majority of land that animals are fed on, a very small percentage that can actually grow crops successfully, you know.
And when you look at actual calories you can make per acre, like, if you're talking about feeding a population of people, calories per acre, like, beef farming is a fucking great way of getting calories per acre.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And, like, they talk about the amount of water used, they talk about the amount of land used, they talk about the amount of fertilizer you have to put on that land. Crop agriculture, like monocrop agriculture in particular, is absolutely terrible for land.
That's there's reckoning, like, depending on who you listen to, it's like 50 less years of crops left or something, or 50 harvests. I'm not too sure if we keep going the way we're going, and most countries.
The crazy thing is when you look at the micronutrient density of vegetables now, like, you know, when they did, like, the 5-a-day vegetables back in the 60s, you know, where they do, like, the amount of micronutrients you need from certain vegetables every day. That micronutrient density is around 10% of what it was in the 60s.
That's from UN, wasn't it? Yeah, that's crazy.
So, like, the actual vegetables you're growing have just leached everything out of the ground anyway, you know.
Yes.
There's very select ways of getting those things back in the ground. Like, fertilizer now is 3.5 times more expensive than it was last year.
That's because of Russia exported a huge amount of fertilizers, ammonia, whatever.
It's crazy.
I think,
So, yeah. I actually have a meeting at 5:30.
All right.
So we must finish this up. It was good to win yet another round of trivia. We'll talk to you again next week. If you have any questions about monocrop agriculture, you might get onto the Farmer's Journal or something.
Did anybody get any trivia questions right? No, I didn't get any of yours, did I? No.
Did I get any of yours? No, definitely not. Another stalemate. I don't think the aim of us playing trivia is to get any correct.
Maybe for you, you loser.
Go on.